The Rafah Crossing, once Gaza's main lifeline to the outside world, is reopening after being shut for almost 2 years. Israel says it will allow for the limited passage of residents only as procedures are tested. Ambulances are already queuing on the Egyptian side of the crossing. Now, thousands of sick and wounded Palestinians are seeking urgent medical care abroad, but Israel is expected to control the numbers allowed to leave, and Palestinians fear many won't be let back in. We're going to go straight to Hani Mahmoud, first of all, who is joining us from Khan Younis. And Hani, can you just explain the process for people before they're even allowed to leave? How is all of this actually going to work? Because it is so heavily controlled by Israel, isn't it?
Tom, after several statements and announcements, Rafah Crossing is officially open, and as of today, February 1st on a Sunday. But it looks like the process, based on the many announcements, it's limited, it's controlled, and it's phased. And today we're looking at more of a pilot program, just testing the monitoring, screening, and security checking process set by the Israeli military. It's not as simple as one would think after enduring 2 years of horror of the genocide. It's quite difficult, it's quite phased as of this moment. And in terms of movement, what we're looking at, apart from the fact that we have a European monitoring mission already arrived at the crossing, Palestinian Technocratic Committee already at the crossing, but entry into the Gaza Strip has not been confirmed yet. Exits also from the Gaza Strip has not been confirmed yet, and it's likely to be happening as follows. In terms of movement, it's selected a group of injured cases, evacuation, medical evacuation that could be selected of other groups just for the purpose of testing this pilot monitoring process at the crossing itself. There is also the logistical control. Everything is controlled by the Israeli military. The statement that was issued a couple days ago by the COGAT made it clear in a blunt way. All aspects of travel controlled by the Israeli military. They're subject to prior security clearance. So this type of logistics and control likely to delay the movement of people from in and out of the Gaza Strip at the time when movement is supposed to be much easier, much smoother, particularly for those desperate for medical evacuation, been waiting for the past year. Already some of them lost their lives. Majority are at risk of losing their lives or endure much more complicated health conditions if they're not evacuated immediately. As of now, we're still waiting for a confirmation of any entry or exit of Palestinians through the crossing.
Okay, so no one's confirmed to actually have left at this stage. But can you just talk us through how people are actually reacting to all of this? How are they feeling? Because, as you mentioned, there is a desperate need for many people to leave for medical reasons, but they are rightly concerned that they might not actually ever be able to return.
Tom, we've been walking around Nasser Medical Complex here. We arrived earlier in the morning. We spoke informally with people here just to try to feel and have an insight of what people are thinking about. And we're left with this one common thread. There is this dynamic of wanting to leave because it's optimism, the hope, this is the only lifeline, the gate to the outside world, but also the fear of not returning, as the Israeli military and the logistical part, the restrictions, the screening process, the list of restrictions imposed by the military is making it very difficult for people. So people are living in this uncomfortable dynamics. They want to leave, but at the same time, they're worried they will not be able to come back. And in fact, we came across many of the people who are worried about this particular part. They said the purpose of them departing Gaza would be strictly for medical evacuation, strictly for continuing their education, and they want to come back later on. But up till now, they haven't been able to make that decision because the process is not clear yet.
Thank you so much, Hani. As always, that's Hani Mahmoud for us there in Khan Younis. Well, Jonathan Crickx joins us now. He is the Chief of Communications at the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF Palestine. He joins us from Deir al-Balah in Gaza. Thank you so much for being with us. We've just had word that the opening of the crossing for the movement of people is not due to begin until tomorrow. That's the latest information that we've been given. But if you can just talk us through how vital, once it does open, how vital it is, not just for medical evacuations, but essential services and reuniting families as well, who have waited so many years. I mean, I guess if you can break it down and essentially tell us what difference this is actually going to make for people there.
Well, Tom, we don't know exactly how things will work and the processes, but what is for sure is that this step is an important one. And it's an important one for several reasons. First of all, we have seen before April 2024, at the beginning of a very, very intense war, many children and mothers who evacuated through Rafah. And so it's extremely important that these children can be reunited with their parents, that you know, they can just be together as a family in the Gaza Strip or outside of the Gaza Strip. So that's one very, very important point. And then medical evacuations are so critical. I mean, I met with so many children who have been injured, amputated by explosions during the war, who have lost a limb, an arm, a leg, and you know, some of these children are being taken care of here in the Gaza Strip. But as you know, the health system is definitely not sufficient to absorb all the children who have a huge need for rehabilitation, etc. So for those children, it's extremely important that they can exit the Gaza Strip to seek the medical treatment they need. And here we were just talking about injured children, amputated children, and I can tell you again, I saw many awful cases, but I also met with many children who have a lung disease or a heart disease, and that need transplantation, that needs treatment for leukemia. So for all these children, it's extremely important. It's vital, actually. It's vital that they can exit the Gaza Strip, and also very important that they are able to come back.
Can you just explain how the process is going to work for those children that have lost one or even both of their parents, that have been orphaned? How does that work? What do they need to ensure that they can get out and get the treatment that they require?
So it's the World Health Organization, which was very much in the lead for the actual practical process. What UNICEF has been doing is very much supporting on advocacy, but also to ensure and to work on the provision of legal guardian in case of children who have to exit the Gaza Strip without a caregiver, without someone to take care of them, and it has happened in the past. It's very important that we are working with our office in Egypt and with the Egyptian authorities to make sure that these children are being taken care of and that all legal aspects also are maintained. We don't want to have children who end up in a situation where you know, they are kind of lost in the process of movement. So this is something which is absolutely critical for the children to be accompanied and to be taken care of by an adult.
We heard from our correspondent in Gaza, Hani Mahmoud, earlier, talking about how worried some people are about not having any guarantees they'll ever be able to return to the Strip, but they have to leave to seek medical treatment. What pressure does that put on families who really don't want to be split up, obviously?
Well, I met with so many families here in Gaza, and you know, I cannot talk for all of the people in Gaza, but clearly, and your journalist was very right. I think that you have, on the one hand, people who really want to leave, for example, to seek family reunification or to seek medical support. But at the same time, I also met so many families who were pitching their tents in Gaza City on the rubble of their house, and we were saying we prefer to be in a tent here with limited services, with limited health services, because this is our land. So voila, I think that there are very, very different perspectives in the population. I think that it's also important to see and to give a little bit of time to see how the process will be implemented, and hopefully to have not only ultimately people entering and exiting from the Rafah crossing point, but also to have more humanitarian aid, for example, that could enter via Rafah. And UNICEF is advocating, along with all humanitarian agencies, for more entry points for the humanitarian aid. So we have to give time for this process to take place. We have to keep hope and to hope for those children to seek the support they need here in Gaza. We're still talking about nearly 1 million children here in Gaza who are in need of support.
Yeah, as we've been talking about for so long now, the scale is just immense, and it's not just about allowing people to leave, but that much needed aid to get in. Thank you so much, Jonathan. We'll have to leave it there for the moment. That's Jonathan Crickx with UNICEF Palestine.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.